Welcome back. Twisted garlic ginger butternut squash, dynamite chilli, citrus glazed carrots. Sound tempting? Certainly better than saying, eat your veg. But a team of US researchers have found that when they gave vegetables fancy, indulgent names, sales went up by 25%. So, let's talk health by stealth and how we're influenced when it comes to taste and food. Let's talk for the next few minutes with Jonathan Gabay, a brand psychologist. We're also joined by Valerie Russell, who's a food marketing expert who campaigns to get kids eating more fruit and veg, and chef Joel Gazdar, who runs the Wild Food Cafe, a purely vegetarian cafe here in London. My favourite story of the day, so welcome all three of you. Jonathan,
Yes.
I mean, this story, this must ring bells with someone like you, because how you describe food is critical, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is critical. If you just describe food from just a pure health point of view, what happens in terms of hormones from a psychology point of view is that you'll eat it, but you'll still feel hungry. So what you need is something descriptive. Now, I started off as a copywriter, okay, and so the sorts of, expressions we're talking about, aromatic, delectable, delightful, exquisite. I mean, instead of saying courgettes, okay, I just wrote something down here. Instead of saying courgette, what about extra delicious, slow-roasted individual spirals of courgettes? It's just like, oh, I want it now.
See, it's got him going already. Valerie, now, you know, everyone with kids watching this will know the battle that everyone has to try to make them eat fruit and vegetables. I mean, how you sell it is absolutely critical for getting kids to engage.
Yeah, we're working with a project called the Great Fruit and Veg Adventure. So the founder of it, Max, has motorbiked on a Triumph motorbike from London to Cape Town, and he spoke to 5,000 children over 16 countries on his journey, and is now back in the UK educating our little kids around the country. And it's amazing when you go into schools and we had a talk in our local school where we had Max come in with his motorbike, and we had a junior giraffe. So you had the health benefit and the excitement of the adventure, but then you gave every child an apple, and they left very happy, if a little hyped up by the motorbike.
Joel, look, my desk. This is all stuff that you have brought in. Thank you so much. I'm going to hopefully taste a little bit of it in a minute. But, I mean, this is meat and drink for you, essentially, if you don't mind the pun. But, I mean, how much do you have to fight against that basic notion that vegetables are boring, they're bland?
Yeah, that is the basic notion. That's the notion that I grew up with. But it's so easy to make it fun. You do making it beautiful, making it sound beautiful, making it feel appealing, putting the joy in there, having all these great ingredients to work with that are so colourful.
So whiz me through what you brought in for me.
Okay, well, we'll start at dessert. Often my favourite place to start. You know, flip things on their heads. This is called a cosmic blueberry cheesecake. And I don't know if it shows up on the cameras, but the cheesecake bit is actually blue, and it's a natural blue, not an artificial food colour, and that comes from an ingredient called blue spirulina. You probably can't see it on the cameras, it's a light blue, but inside we've got wild blueberries, and that's just crazy delicious.
A few orders my ear going in for that already. Whiz me through quickly some of the others.
And just to let you know that there's no cheese or dairy in that cheesecake, and the crust is, is a non-wheat, non-grain. It's made out of nuts and dried fruit. So leaves you feeling extra light. And apart from that, it's secondary to the fact that it's delicious and it looks beautiful.
We talk about sort of just describing it in a certain way, and that's sort of the part of the psychological trick, but also critical is actually making it perhaps taste differently. So it's not just boiled carrots or all the sorts of things that perhaps people recoil from. That is part of the mix here, not just describing it in a fancy way.
Absolutely. But at the same time, the meal could be ruined to the same meals by just describing it differently. No matter if it was the most exquisitely produced plant food grown by a gardener.
Quickly then tell me the names of the other things, if it is so important.
So this is a wild pizzette. Essentially it's a pizza, but the only thing that's common to people from a pizza in there is the tomato. The base is made from pureed butternut squash and almond, and then the cheese is a pine nut cheese. And then the next dish over, we're calling that Starstruck buckwheat tartar, so it's made of buckwheat.
My goodness, this must take hours for you to actually come up with the name. Jonathan, you're trying to get in.
Yeah, because I'm going to go back to the beautiful dessert, okay? When you said the word cosmic, I'm looking at it from a psychological point of view, yeah. And it's also, Chef, I'm going to ask you, actually, it's not just the name of the cosmic. What I would do is, like, it's something that when you're eating it, you feel something which is something to do with astronomical or something pops or fizzes or whatever it might be. Is it true that that kind of sensation also makes it interesting?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And I think that that's what we need to do as well.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about, because part of a lot of this is about indulgence. How important a lever, how powerful is that, do you think?
Absolutely, because the thing is that, again, all the research shows this, that if you just, you know, describe it as healthy food, full stop, and that's it, it's not, there's no experience, there's no, oh, I want to try this out.
It sounds too serious, doesn't
Exactly.
It takes the fun out of it, and we all, our first food memories are as a kid, and we get really excited, and these words and sensations are powerful and in us for the rest of our lives.
And that's why, what we've got to do is use these adjectives, yeah, and get people really excited about the cosmic or the starburst or whatever you're going to...
It's the best way to get kids excited
Absolutely.
about food.
Well, you say that, Ryan, you're absolutely right, because this, I talked about the 25%, but actually they did this in categories, and for foods that had health advice on it, these particular foods beat them in terms of sales by 41%.
But nobody wants to be preached to, so
they
actually...
don't, but then when you think of other educational messages, like 5 a day,
Which is supposed to be
does it
10.
perhaps explain why messages like that struggle?
Yes, I think so, definitely. And I think kids, they want to get excited about food, and it's giving them the wherewithal, whether that's through education back in the kitchen or just getting them to try different foods.
So it's no good saying to them, eat this, it's better for you?
No, I think if you preach, I know as I've got 3 children, and if I preach to them as to what they need to eat or drink, they don't listen to me. So I think it's education and making it fun, using exciting words. Like, if I gave my 3 daughters a dessert, I know it would go.
Exactly, especially the sparkle and the fizzle stuff. But can I just... And oh no, you know, it's like we've got to, you know, cut back and all the rest of it, eat healthy foods and just do the straightforward stuff. I think with just the use of adjectives, mums making the food look really more interesting, you know, people, this mindset, people can start saying, actually, this is fun. In fact, not only is it fun, it's also good for me.
Vi, I wanted to ask you a different question, because you see a
You need to do a bit of both.
If you're trying to say to kids, look at veg, they are good and they taste nice. If you're secretly trying to do it, do you undermine your own case?
I don't think you undermine your own case. I don't think anyone can have too much fruit and veg. So I think if you do health by stealth, and I am guilty of putting extra veg into pasta sauces.
You're absolutely enthusiastic. Each one you spent ages trying to describe it. You're preaching to the converted.
Involved in planting the seed, even if they hate broccoli, if they plant the broccoli and then they harvest the broccoli,